welcome to Dugout Chatter. We are going to see how America's pastime has shaped generations of young men and women into the determined people they are today.
All right, welcome back to Dugout Chatter. This is the episode everyone's been waiting for. It's the one I've been teasing. It is all four brothers at one of our locals. All right, cheers. Cheers around.
To the ball bag.
To the ball bag.
Courtesy of Ravish.
Yeah. And if you're watching the video for this podcast or reel or whatever, we're at our local sponsor, Ravish Kitchen and Cocktails, owned by this guy right here. Say what's up. Tell us a little bit about Ravish really quick.
So I am the oldest brother and the proud sponsor of this episode. And I think we sponsored, a total of 10 episodes coming up?
Yeah, that's what you paid for up front.
So I'm getting him back by having him go to the bar half off right now, so get my money back. Not joking.
You guys are making way more than that off of us today.
Yeah. This is creative marketing over here. But anyways, yes.
Hey, it's mutually beneficial.
Ravish off Ocean. We're located on 210 East Ocean in Lantana, in the town we grew up in. I got to come back and build a business, and we grew up playing Little League just like a 2-minute drive away from here. So really cool that we can share some old stories of where we're at and the new business that we're sponsoring today.
I don't know. I feel like this is going to gear more towards our childhood because I remember growing up playing front yard baseball. Braden taking me in the yard, Ryan taking me in the yard, Kieran being in a cameo occasionally.
A lot of questions for Kieran today.
Yeah. So I don't know, what do you guys really remember from our childhood in baseball? Because it was like everything. Mom and Dad were going to every game, driving around to every field. And how many other families do you think, four of us, went through that torment?
I remember when we were growing up, we wanted Mom to have 9 kids so we could fill a diamond.
I mean, you can freeze eggs. It's not out of the realm.
I mean, by the time baby number 4 came around, I thought it was a legitimate shot to ask her to do this. I didn't know if she ever planned on stopping, but I was like, keep the boys coming.
I remember one time, and Chanley saw me come in. This was my freshman year. He's like, man, another Giffen? Your parents need a TV in the bedroom. Chanley doesn't hold back. Does anyone have a story they want to start with or open with?
Well, speaking of Chanley, it was funny. He coached all of us for all these years, and then one time we were getting to play a Dusty R Live show. Dusty R Live's here at 4 o'clock at Ravish.
There's some shameless plugs today.
Hey, you're getting more than your $10 per episode.
Hey. Don't let the world know how they can get you a sponsorship here.
So anyways, we're practicing at Dustin's house for Dusty R Live reunion show at a restaurant. And Chanley is a guitar player, and it was just cool. He came and sat and played a few songs with us, and playing music with your old high school baseball coach and having a few beers. Chanley's one of the boys.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
BP in the game too. Sorry,
Chanley did have the best.
So
BP.
you had a bunch of different BP guys at Stanley's, just right. You had Chanley who threw home run derby BP. Franco's was nice, but his wing was always hurting.
Yeah, Franco could go about 5 pitches.
Yeah, and Smith would just hum him in there all day long.
Smith has the most in shape arm out of any of us here, and that man has been around the game for a while.
But you were saying kind of how did it start, and I shared a little bit, but I'm curious, and I said to Kieran and I have questions. And I'm curious your guys' feedback to I found it. I got Mom and Dad to get me into it, and then you guys started to get into it. So let's go down the row and say, Kieran, you had a lot of different interests. You probably tried more sports than anyone.
Yeah.
What was it like getting introduced to baseball? And tell us a little bit more about your career.
I mean, you're going to hear about it on my and McKay's solo podcast. Do you guys remember what we did before we did baseball?
Karate.
Karate.
For me, I don't really remember because
you weren't allowed.
I wasn't alive yet.
we were doing karate, and then we moved to taekwondo, and I think I more excelled at martial arts. But then you would come home with all this baseball energy. Mom and Dad were talking about it, then Braden got into it, and I was still doing martial arts. And I'm like, man, no one's talking about taekwondo anymore.
Well, it's really interesting that you say that because I didn't bring it up on my podcast, but I remember playing neighborhood baseball. I was like, why didn't Mom get me into baseball sooner? I never played coach pitch or T-ball.
Right.
I went straight to kid pitch. And now I remember looking back, I felt like but I came in the league, and on my first year, I was objectively saying, I think I was one of the better players on the team. And I think it's because of the athleticism I learned from martial arts, which I'm now putting that together now looking back on it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you're learning coordination in martial arts, from doing stuff like your form, from doing practicing striking and scoring points and your wood breaking competition. So you're definitely learning a lot of hand-eye coordination. And when you see kids, like when they're first going after a ball, it just looks so awkward. And I think with martial arts, you kind of just negated that, because you could use your hands better.
Yeah. Well, what you're saying, I feel like a lot of people, when they first start playing baseball, they're afraid of the ball.
100%.
You got to get over that fear. I feel like
Ryan,
Miles is kind of in that stage
Ryan,
right now.
How did you overcome the fear of the ball?
I remember
God, that could be
on
a
the
weird
side of the
question.
house on Moonbeam, and I mentioned Dad wasn't a baseball guy, so he thought it was a good idea to just stand there and throw balls at me on the side of the house.
Yeah, helmet, though, right?
Yeah, he gave me a helmet. Just don't call child services on him or
in the
anything.
neighborhood.
But I don't remember being that afraid of it. Maybe he thought I was and thought I needed to see that. But I don't. I see it in my son a lot, and he's starting to overcome it.
Yeah.
The more he does it, and the more confidence he gets. But,
It always starts like with Miles, like, as you throw the ball at them, they kind of, like, kids always kind of move their body out of the way and then stretch their hand out.
Oh, yeah.
You got to get used to putting your chest in front
you got
of
to
it.
move in front
Square
of
up
the
to
ball.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's some
guys.
guys.
The game.
There's some guys that still would always make you scared of the ball a little bit.
Yeah. I remember games when I was pitching. If it's a ground ball to that guy, I'm like, holy shit, I'm praying.
But Kieran, further, I felt like your baseball journey was probably a little bit different than maybe all of ours was different. Maybe we could differentiate that. But I would say, like, did you feel like I feel like you fell in love with the Marlins at a time and really had that fanship he's representing today, represent Jeff Conine.
I thought some of you guys would be wearing baseball shirts, so I threw mine on.
But
Definitely a baseball guy.
I thought
Dugout Chatter got you back to baseball.
real quick, with your multiple interests, did you feel like you had like the most love towards baseball? Was your love spread further around, or what was your relationship with spending energy and
that's
things?
a good question.
So I can answer this like in form of McKay's view of baseball, but all your guys' view, because as you just said, you fell in love with baseball again. I never felt that heartbreak.
Yeah,
I
never had that
we
heartbreak.
talked a lot about
never
that.
fell in love completely.
Well, I mean, I didn't make it to varsity. I got
Well, actually,
But also, all right, let me
Done
say
real
something about Kieran's baseball career that I recognized was, so speaking on Kieran's multiple interests, right? So the rest of us, it seemed to be that we devoted almost all of our time to baseball. So
Yep.
of course you would get better at that. And Kieran was doing multiple things. So like you're not, wielding the medal, if you will, in one specific thing, So it's just it's not even a comparison. Just amount of time spent.
Reflecting on your career, would you agree with that in a sense that like maybe you were spread in more interest that you couldn't give it everything?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, because it's a lot to become good at baseball. It's a lot of hard work.
that is.
Then maybe the question for that is, why didn't you just do baseball?
It's a question I don't have an answer to. I love the sport. I think it's one of the coolest sports around. But if I were to do it again, I'd probably stick with just martial arts, because I was
It was
really
more in your wheelhouse. Patrick
Roundhouse.
Swayze.
But something that's kind of cool in our brotherhood now that we have this like funny baseball chat.
That started out of nowhere.
Yeah,
How did
like-
that start?
Yeah, how did that
But
start?
I think it's Braden found this pitcher in like the dead ball era that got struck by lightning.
And he finished the game.
And that wasn't the funny part. He went up there, he was down for like 5 minutes, got back up, and still
He
finished.
got
the
revived allegedly on the mound.
But
These
nowadays, if you throw 80 pitches, you gotta get taken
yeah,
out.
this
Like,
guy got struck
how
by
many
lightning.
bolts of lightning
I
have you
forgot his
taken?
name, but I sent this thing.
Ray
behind.
Caldwell. Ray Caldwell. Look up Ray
We
Caldwell.
looked this up last night.
It's a
for
pretty
the
famous
data
baseball
recording.
story. Real baseball people would know that one.
So, anyways, we've had this funny chat going where we'll just find like funny dead ball stuff or silly
Crazy
memes,
stats,
reels,
Like
whatever.
I sent you guys when Chipper Jones was drafted as a hockey player. I didn't know that.
Tom Glavine.
Tom Glavine. But then
listen
who was
to
the
the podcast?
who's the go to? I can't. I'm so bad at football stuff. The man or who just retired.
from
The Buccaneers went from the Patriots.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Yeah, he was a catcher for the Expos.
He sure doesn't
or
know who
something.
he is.
He was the last player
Exactly.
to play professional sports for the Expos, draftee.
Is that right?
There's no more players that were
Yeah.
ever drafted playing a professional sport.
Man.
Well, the last.
Did you guys know this? I found this out the other day that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was born in Canada. So he's Canadian, and his English is still has that Spanish.
But you would think he's straight out of the Dominican Republic.
Well, who's he playing for? He plays
The Blue
for
Jays.
Blue Jays.
And he's wearing
that's Toronto.
Yeah,
so
no, but-
Canada.
No, but
But his dad was playing with the Expos when he was born. and then he was born there.
Yeah.
So he's Dominican, but he's also a
yeah.
Canadian citizen, I think.
He spent like every offseason in the Dominican, too.
Yeah.
And that's like where he grew up. That's where he went to school.
Dude,
Nickelback.
With one of my previous girlfriends, we went to.
Did you miss that
Dominican
joke?
Republic. The Nickelback joke? Yeah, every time someone
Hopefully
says
the
Nickelback, it
podcasters
glazes
watch it.
over. So when me and my ex-girlfriend
Drink
went
faster.
to Dominican, the DR, dude, those kids can play.
But that's the only thing they do.
But I was able to get a glove from one of the kids and get on the field with them and play with them. That was just so rewarding to have fun. All of them were in the outfield hitting ground balls. You know, like when you go to like a basketball court and you see all these people just hanging around. That's what it was like for baseball over there.
That's cool.
It was really
It's
cool.
not like you're getting run off the court at LA Fitness.
Oh god, yeah, dude, we got ran off the court so many times. Like,
I know, you're just trying to shoot around after a workout
no,
and they
we-
start a game and...
we want to play full court. Oh, you didn't ask.
Yeah.
But I just think it's pretty cool. Like that's probably like the biggest thing that it's like something special that I view. Like we have this little chat that like I laugh at. You know, we're activating like every couple of days. Like it doesn't go without a couple of days without something in there. So I'm
it's
appreciative that like I grew up nonstop around you guys. You guys would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
And now
I was
like
5 by the time.
I catch myself like I
Don't
don't see
throw
my
me in that.
Well, I catch myself like missing that and be like, hey, I think it's really over, and then like it's something that I still like have
Yeah.
to live through like my brotherhood. That's like still, and the reason we're here today, kind of, you know.
I love that chat too. Like I have like Google text messages, so it's pinned to the top of like my messages. So anytime a message comes in, like, and then I'm always searching for like I gotta send something funnier.
Right, I got
Did
a
you see
question
the one I
for you.
sent where it was like, oh, this is the sound all guys love, and it's a hot girl in high heels. Then a guy's just like, wrong, and it's Shohei dropping a dinger.
Yeah, that wood bat sound. Yeah, or metal spikes on concrete.
No, nothing can beat.
Why does that sound so
No,
good?
Man, it's just the sound of our
nothing can
people.
beat a wood bat off the ball. That is
yeah.
the best sound.
I wish that I can get as my text tone that like perfect swing on MLB The Show sound when you square one up. That crack of the bat. I wish that was my text tone.
I wish mine was, it's way back and gone from MVP.
Braden, you had a question?
I do have a question for Ryan.
Okay.
All right, so I never thought about this question until right now because we've never really talked about this, but
Real quick, have we got... Sorry.
So close.
Sorry.
I'm getting
Ad break. No. Have we gotten in a room to talk about baseball like this before?
not like this. No. So this is where these new questions are stemming from.
And further suspense on this question for the third time.
So Ryan,
Tell me to take charge. Continue.
So Ryan, you obviously led the charge with the baseball thing in the house. Have you ever stopped and like reflected on? All right, so you did that, and the rest of us kind of followed suit. So would that have been the same if you picked a different sport? Have you ever thought of maybe the role that you played for the rest of us and kind of like leading the charge? Because like you said in your episode, Dad didn't play. Baseball was new to you, and you fell in love with it on your own. So you kind of like paved the way for the rest of us. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, it's really cool that if I could have had that impact on you guys, because I still catch myself wanting to be big brother sometimes, and I'm like, they're fucking grown men now. Maybe they don't want to hear what I have to say. Maybe sometimes I'm like, man, I wish they would ask me a question with something they're going through. Like, why aren't they coming to me? Like, I can give them. I've gone through things that they haven't gone through.
Still, don't be afraid to like blow us up either.
Yeah, but sometimes I feel like, and I've done this maybe not specifically with you, maybe I have, but like I've maybe stuck my nose maybe where I shouldn't, and I don't want to do that. But if you're giving me an opening to do that,
do it.
It sounds like this is a safe place.
This is the same place. I
know where you live.
Dugout Chatter at Ravish. This is Dugout Chatter at Ravish Kitchen and Cocktails. It doesn't get safer, baby.
So I really can see how that can happen. I think about how I look at my son dealing with his person, but I just want to. Like, I'm very careful about how and when I say things, but I also sometimes I'm like, man, like I know he's going through something, and I want to say something. Should I not? But like, they like also want to respect them as men.
Well,
So-
you also have to ask the question appropriately to open the door.
Well, no, I mean, Ryan still older brothers us all the time.
Yeah.
Let me help you with the podcast with Ravish sponsoring Older Brother. I'm going to have workout for you on the West Coast with my restaurant business, Older Brother.
Yeah.
I have a fleet of vehicles you can work on, Kieran, Older Brother. So you're still doing all the older brother stuff, and it's crazy because it's constant. It's awesome. I love it.
We all do it in our own way.
Also, that the same thing, building up the community of people that, like you threw Franco's thing here, and all those little nice things of people that you build relationships with. It's cool to see, and it's inspiring. So I think we all see that.
That means a lot, man.
Yeah.
So who does that remind you of, boys?
Eddie Barber.
Eddie Barber.
Yeah.
Just so you know, the reference in our family. I want to give this back to McKay because we kind of been tangenting, but in our
you
family,
guys tangent. It's your episode.
yeah. In our family, Eddie Barber, he's our grandfather. He was a strong patriarch of our family, and was just so big on family. Every Tuesday night growing up, we would have these massive Italian dinners, and like it would be 30, 40 people deep consistently on Tuesday nights, feasting, partying, whatever. And just like for him, like that was it was when you think about life, like you're trying to grow, you're trying to get better at sport, trying to build businesses, trying to get ahead, trying to do all this. But at the end of the day, like it's who you love and who's actually showing up when you throw these events and who you care about. And man, so whatever. If that's what I'm doing, I'm super proud to whoever carries this torch in our family next. You know, I'm not saying it's going to be me. But I'm saying
Well, it's all of our responsibility.
Yeah, it's all of our
And like one
responsibility.
thing I talked about on Braden's episode is like we all keep our own people around in what we do in like our own personal business endeavors and everything, because like. You bring around the guys from CKS, Brilliant Supply, you're bringing them to Ravish or whatever, you're sponsoring the episode. And like we all do that in our own ways. Mm-hmm. We keep our circle of people around us.
Yeah, that's why Willie Bob's producing this one.
Yeah. And he's not behind the camera right now. Willie Bob, I need a beer.
I'm going to tie this back to
Willie
baseball real quick. So we were just talking about Eddie Barber, and not only did his right eye see the Norton bomb sight, but he also went to high school with Larry Doby, the first African-American League baseball player for the Cleveland Indians in like 1940 something. Remember him saying that?
Yeah.
Several times.
Yeah.
Actually,
Right.
and I had I got
Jersey, right? In Jersey.
All right, guys, I got a quick.
let's let McKay take control.
No, I was just going to say I have a quick rapid-fire question.
Okay, go for it.
We'll start with Braden, work our way around the table. I'll go last. Best baseball player you've seen in person, like that that you shared a field with that day.
Probably Trey Turner. You talked about this play I saw Trey Turner make in high school. It was just like, and I also saw Manny Machado. Like I was in the stands, though I didn't play against him, and he was like doing like IO or something. But there was this specific play that Trey Turner made against Park Vista at their home field. It's a chopper in the 6-hole. Trey Turner like reaches his glove out, can't get it, bare hands it, and like does this like Jeter-esque throw. First base throws out. I can't remember who hit it. It was like a fast guy. Like I don't know if you guys might remember Ernie Cabrera. Like Ernie was the most smoothest, one of the smoothest baseball players I've ever seen. Like effortlessly had an arm, effortlessly can hit, fast as all get out. You know. And I think it was him. I might be mistaken on that, but it was just like a feat of athleticism that I hadn't seen on a baseball field that I definitely couldn't do myself. And it was just like, oh, there's like a different level of baseball players that I'm playing next to that I'm not a part of, and he has a $300 million contract. So,
yeah, Kieran.
So I don't remember his name, but it was during.
Really impactful.
I mean, dude, it's just I didn't think this question would be asked as a deep cut question. He was a shortstop for one of our seasons where we won the championship in Little League, which you mentioned that we were right down there on Lantana. I can't remember his name.
Was it Paul Everett?
It was Paul Everett. Paul Everett was the best. Who knows? Probably got a ground ball somewhere.
His little brother or sister, I can't remember.
So that shows my memory right there when Ryan could remember.
Yeah.
It's a curse.
Paul Everett, it's just, how you see perceptions, like, dude, this guy's on a different playing field.
Yeah.
I mean, at that time in my life, I'm like, bro, I'm struggling catching pop flies here. This dude's just, like, making diving catches. Paul Everett.
Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, I had the pleasure to play with a lot of guys.
Ryan probably played with the most people who.
Ryan probably played with the most talented people.
Great era of Florida, Palm Beach County baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my answer may shock you.
All right, give it to us.
I think I know who it is.
No way.
You probably do.
I do. Yeah.
What?
You want to guess?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I definitely know who it is.
You probably do.
Cody Allen.
Chris Allen.
Chris Allen, sorry. Cody
I'm
Allen's,
sorry, Chris, if you're
Cody
watching.
Allen's my chief.
Put some back on the name. So let me bring that back a little bit. I played with guys that have major league guys consistently back in like the St. Lucia's like dynasty days.
when it was hot.
But the reason I say Chris is the best player I've ever played with is because Chris just never had a bad day. Chris just never. The guy didn't know what a slump was. The guy, you want him to be the best catcher in the county? Sure. Put him at short, he's going to be the best shortstop. Put him at second. Chris could have...
You played Lantana with him too, right? So you knew him
I've known Chris for a long
time.
time. And kind of maybe he was somewhat of a hero to me in a way. I always wanted to be the next Chris Allen. That's maybe why I even went on to catch
Do you
at some
remember
point.
how his baseball career ended? Was it college ball?
Well, so I always said Chris would become a major leaguer and do all that, not because he had any one particular great skill. He just would never do bad. Like, he would always put up good numbers and be consistent. So it's not like, oh, big tools here, this, that. But he would just always be he would always be one of the better players on the field and be consistent day in and day out. But I know he ended up playing with my partner, Scott Delaney, at the Marion Military Institute. And he crushed it over there.
Coolest
Coolest guy in high school.
Verified.
We'll talk about Scott after.
Hang on.
Talk about Scott after. Well, let me finish on
real
Chris.
quick.
Because,
Verified by Wade the Chills.
but Chris was a tough son of a bitch too. Like, Chris was not an easy guy to earn his respect. Chris would sometimes be an asshole. Chris was but then if you earned his respect, you earned his respect, and you had to do right. Chris was I still, when we went up to Nashville, Tennessee we were just going up there to party and check out some music.
My birthday, we all went.
And Chris came out, man. We partied like we were hanging out yesterday.
It was really cool, man, because I grew up around those ball fields. You played with him at Lantana, and I grew up with his sister, and she tragically passed away in a car accident. And then, like, I saw him there in Nashville, and you played with him. You had a better rapport with him, but I was always around with his sister, and it was just like not missing a beat. It was like one of those people that you feel like you almost know your whole life. Like, you could just talk to him, and he's just the coolest guy. And he coached me a little bit, and he had a lot of baseball insight. And it was just a really cool guy.
Extremely high baseball IQ.
And I was just like, man, I never thought about shit like that.
Like, again, no one great tool. And I play with guys with probably close to at a major league level, like 3+ tools, and that's.
So why didn't he make it? Maybe not the right looks, because like you could put him in any atmosphere.
He just stopped.
Really?
After 2 years.
So it ended how? You remember?
I think he just played, and I'd have to ask him specifically, but I know he
come
played.
on sometime, okay?
Right. He played 2 years he's living in Tennessee now, but he played at the Marion Military Institute and crushed it there. Was like their ace pitcher and played wherever in the field, hit like probably close to 400. His senior year, he hit 506.
Jesus.
Like, more than half the time, every other time he was up there, he was getting a hit. Like, it's. And again, I played with 5 guys who got drafted that,
and all those guys.
And those are amazing baseball players. But I just never seen anything done like on that high level, consistent.
So we just had Braden, congratulations, you're having a baby. He just got married. As bachelor party, we made a video for Braden. McKay and I were editing, and one of the best things we have is from Ryan's debut for, who was it for?
My perfect game
skills?
workout.
No,
Pro skills?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect game workout.
Perfect game.
I think it was like tagline under pro skills or something.
And earlier today when we were grabbing a beer, you asked me if I saw your episode. If you go down to your YouTube channel, you'll clearly see me saying, "Hi, my name's Ryan Giffen."
Well, I wanted to make sure you watched the whole thing. I want to make sure you just didn't go on and leave a comment. I want to make sure you watch the whole thing.
No, but what's funny, if you actually watch the videos, it's so awkward because it's just a music bed with Ryan working out.
So we'll have like a whole deep cut with Braden that Ryan will just pop in on your bachelor. Hi, my name is.
Yeah, we do that.
McKay cut it and edited it perfectly, just like it would be in the most opportune time, and it would just be Ryan holding there, just kind of like he is right now.
Hopefully, I've gotten a little bit better on camera. I don't know. That was 16-year-old Ryan. Yeah. Cut him a break.
You don't look. All right, Brian. I'll give you this. You don't like you just woke up at 3 a.m.
Where was that at again?
I was at the Red Sox facility in Fort Myers.
Okay, yeah, I ended up
there.
there later. That's closed down or something else now.
Yeah.
I think it was. I mean, when I was coaching, I think you guys back in the day. I remember we were at JetBlue or something. It was called facility. It was a nice facility.
The Twins play there now.
Yeah, it was a great facility.
I think.
And McKay, what was your showcase at that Braden and I kind of ditched you at?
Oh yeah, that was how. That was how
about that.
Yeah,
I never heard this story.
so it was like
Remind me.
All right, I'll walk you guys back. It was my senior year, and like I was trying to play college.
I kind of remember this.
Yeah. No. All right. So this just. This story has humble beginnings.
Applebee's.
Yeah. So anyway, it was
super pissed off at that one guy.
Hold on, slow down.
Shut up.
This is.
I'm sorry.
It's got to look good on playback, please.
Yeah. So anyway, it was after my senior year, going to the college after. So like I'm looking at my college freshman year. I'm trying to find a college team to play for, and then like I just heard about like through the pipeline like they got an open workout here. So I was like, okay, Polk County, the three of us somehow end up making the trip out there.
I think we're all just free that day.
Yeah.
Where was I?
Ryan was probably with a shovel mining Bitcoin.
Sponsor of this podcast. But anyway, Mom was like, take him out there, whatever. Here's Grandma's credit card. Have a nice night out. So anyway,
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
so we're at Applebee's.
Thanks, Chris.
You guys get fucking hammered at Applebee's.
I remember, this one guy was talking shit to Kieran about like drinking wine and beer and whiskey.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
you guys sent me a message.
That was on
Said-
Facebook.
Because I used to drink wine back then. And he goes, "Oh, Ryan, we can be fancy like you." I was just like,
anyway, getting back to the story. So you guys get hammered at Applebee's, and Braden's like, "Yeah, just take my truck to the tryout the next day."
And then Braden and I, the whole next day we were watching Ancient Aliens. We were too hungover to get out to watch him practice.
And then like I had a
poor McKay. McKay, they're chasing his dreams.
And what's funny? No, what's funny is I actually had a great tryout.
I know, we heard all about it. I was like,
dude,
damn, dude.
I ripped a double off the wall in left field. I pitched pretty well. I made one error, but like through all that, like I had a good tryout. Then I get back to the truck, and you guys look like fucking blown out of your minds. You're watching 61 on Braden's dashboard.
What was that?
You guys were watching 61.
Oh yeah.
And just so you guys know, 61. I feel like it's come up so much during this podcast.
Yeah, Mr. Ambidextrio, Josh Bell.
It's probably like one of the best baseball movies if you haven't watched it. But nobody knows about it.
By true baseball fans.
It is the best major. It's better than Major Leagues. It's better than Bull Durham. You don't see fucking Tim Allen fixing his house in it. He's had so many home improvement shows.
I think if you were to ask like just generic people what the best baseball movie is, they'd probably say 41. There's a
42. You're
42.
You're good at this.
I know, whiskey. I thought about saying 41 too before I said it.
You should have stuck to Taekwondo.
I should have.
42 is better than 41.
It's numerical.
I haven't seen that one, but if you haven't seen 61,
but it's very like cinematic,
Yeah.
And what I liked about 61 is I feel like it mixed the medium well between cinematic and baseball.
I watched a behind-the-scenes documentary of that movie.
Really quick, at the end of the day, Major League is a good movie. Baseball players
it's a
like
different
it,
thing.
but it's not a baseball movie. It's a comedy.
But also, I just think
that's the difference.
I think of the story of baseball. Like, you have the god of baseball, and you have the most unassuming guy come in and steal his fucking crown.
He wasn't
Like, I just
unassuming,
love it.
dude. He wasn't
Yeah.
unassuming.
Well, if you're asking, we need beer.
Sorry.
That's our producer.
But
Just so you know, at Ravish, we have happy hour, 4
Oh
to
yeah,
6.
actually, no, hang on. Good point. Really quick, we're like,
I'll do a 4 to 8.
this is why Roger Maris always gets cut out because he was colorless. It's not true.
MVP, most vacant personality. Wait.
Hang on. Roger Maris is important in his family. Let's discuss this.
All right, really quick. I'm gonna tell one story. We'll get into our sponsorship, then we'll get back to that. So
We got to talk about Roger Maris. We got to have a whole
no,
Roger
we're gonna
Maris.
talk about Roger Maris. But back in the day, he hit 260 with 61 bombs, and people viewed
But he
him
was
as
the
a wash.
MVP the year before he hit 61.
Yeah, but people viewed him as a wash because he couldn't hit for average.
I think he won the MVP the year after too.
Yeah, no, he won the MVP in 60 and 61.
Yeah.
But people didn't like him.
He was colorless.
Yeah,
There's nothing really heroic about the guy.
Nowadays, you can. Nowadays, if you hit a $180, you're one of the best hitters in the league.
Dude. And so
but
how
anyway,
about,
let me cut you off. Time for a quick sponsorship. Ryan, talk about ravishing your buddy's Bitcoin. I feel like you can do it the best.
All right. So there's actually 2 sponsors today.
Yes.
This one? So Ravish Off Ocean, I plugged earlier, a restaurant here in Lantana. Fresh scratch kitchen, fresh cocktails. Come
They're
try us
sponsoring
out.
us during happy hour, taking great care of us. What's up, Dustin?
St. Louis alumni.
And then the Bitcoin Cash podcast. He really wanted to tie in. He's a good friend of mine. I'm a longtime Bitcoiner, but the Bitcoin Cash podcast, it's probably the best crypto podcast out there. He's got thousands of followers. But just like the most, like what crypto is, if you want to learn what it is,
You
how
can get
it
trusted
works.
information.
You get trusted information from early Bitcoiners, not these new charlatans trying to show you some coin to explain what is Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin Cash, what is peer-to-peer electronic cash, what is money, why do we value money, why do we use certain things as money, and what's the money of the future going to be like. You have to check out the Bitcoin Cash podcast. It is by and I'm in the community too. My YouTube channel talks about crypto a lot too, but that's how I found Jeremy. And when he saw this podcast, he's like, man, I really like the quality or like the production. I got to be a part of it. I want to sponsor him. And I want to see how I can tie in.
Thank you, Alex.
Tie in. And this is
Alex, Santa Lucia's alumni as well. Softball, alumni of 2010.
Alex, you're on camera there, so you know. Alice is my partner. She's here running the show.
Co-owner of Ravish.
Yes. So, but anyways, those are our sponsors. Can we please
really quick, thank you guys so much for sponsoring, for reaching out. Small and up-and-coming podcast, hoping to make waves in the baseball community. All grow together. It all ties back. The people you played ball with are your best friends.
So you know how we all troll each other? I send McKay constant little shorts about the guys.
He wears shorts.
Let him finish.
That's his thing. He looks like this.
Yeah, he just talks to major leaguers. So what's your favorite moment in baseball? And like, so you can tell his baseball knowledge is very little. I just send McKay shorts just to mess with him.
I never listen to them because like the thing is like when you listen to baseball now, it's so stat driven. You can tell the most athletic thing these guys have done in their life is masturbate. They're not very skilled.
I saw this thing I was telling Michaela last night.
Like I can't stand it. They read numbers. It's like, bro, you're hitting 210. You can't fucking hit. That's what it is at the end of the day. Batting average is the most important thing to me out of stats for hitters.
I was talking to Jonesy last night at the Marlins game. He was like, "Who's the guy? Who's the guy that's batting 380 again? I can't get his name." All right, so yeah,
who
like
cares?
Jonesy told me like his sabermetric breakdown. He hits in the 2 percentile of balls hard hit.
That's bullshit.
Well, not hard. No, it's real. He doesn't hit balls hard, but he gets on base all the time. He flicks things over. He hits all areas of the field. And then that kind of baseball has gotten lost because like I was watching SportsCenter the other day, and Ohtani hit a 400-foot shot to center field and got caught on the track on the fence. And then it was the commentator was like, "Ooh, too much launch angle on that one." And I was like, "Man, that's amazing."
So I do think.
Hang on, really quick. What coach has ever said? You had too much launch angle on that one.
So
that doesn't.
I think we can tie Roger Maris into this
here we
little
go.
bit.
Roger
I think we
Maris,
should start with Roger.
100%. This is
Everyone here is Gabby. She is our beverage curator
Gabby.
here. She creates all of our wonderful cocktails. Gabby, you are on the podcast. You want to say hi
You're
to
on
everyone?
live.
hello.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for hosting us too.
Absolutely.
Podcast.
These are Gabby. I don't know if these are my three brothers.
Yeah.
All three of them. We are all come from the same ball bag.
Ball bag.
Really?
Thanks, Dad.
Well,
Hold on. When we say the same ball bag, we still have the same mom. Too.
Yes.
I feel like we need to emphasize that sometimes. We have the same mom.
Four boys. They kept on trying for the girl.
Can you guys side some beers?
Ended up with
No
Can you guys-
twins. They just
Brandon, can you side a beer? Yeah.
they just never put a TV in their bedroom.
According to my varsity baseball coach when I was like 16. Yeah. I don't know whose that is.
Yeah.
That was yeah.
The other brothers, okay.
Yeah. It could be
Thank
our
you,
producer
Gabby.
Schwilly who's not here.
Man, this is what keeps happening to Roger
Hang on.
Maris in his career. No one really ever finished talking about him.
And that's why
Colorless.
So Roger won 2 MVPs. To be clear, he won 2 MVPs. He won 60 and 61. Never hit over 40 home runs besides that 1 year. And today we don't really value batting average for some reason. I want to go in depth on that after because maybe Roger Maris would be much more celebrated today.
Yeah.
He was a Gold Glove outfielder too, which I think is really worth
played
noting.
center field to make he was hurt.
And but I just think we talked on the way here like some things that we really value about people's careers is longevity. He did not have longevity, right? And he was not a good average
Pack
hitter.
a day will do that.
But he,
He smoked a lot of cigarettes.
no, he was a blue collar guy.
He's a blue collar guy, but
Played
it's
baseball,
also-
basketball, football.
But he didn't.
Chose
Yeah,
baseball.
I think that baseball wanted, and we kind of want this heroic figure like Babe Ruth or Michael Jordan. This guy that's just
Mickey
this
Mantle for the
heavy-
time.
Mickey Mantle, this heavy, marketable, lovable figure. Like Babe Ruth was lovable. Like Mickey Mantle was lovable.
Yeah, that's why
Roger-
they're trying to Shohei Ohtani's just like Babe Ruth. Like that. Why are we even comparing the two?
We can talk about him too.
He is
But
better.
Roger Roger was just a good baseball player who got stupid hot one year.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved. He never had another 40 home run year, and then he hit 61 in one year, and he didn't even hit over 300 home runs in his career. Ruth hit 714. He came in and stole the crown and kept it for over 50 years.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
But also, like, going
he never knew the record was his.
But really quick, just for some historical context, Roger Maris played in a wildly different era from Babe Ruth. Like, when Babe Ruth played, no blacks were in baseball.
It was harder on Roger Maris, too. They had to play at night.
I was going to get to that,
part of
too.
the West Coast.
And the mound was higher before Bob Gibson made it lower.
Yeah.
But there was, like, his era he played in was definitively more competitive than Babe Ruth's. Like, people, I hate when people say Babe Ruth would be good today. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't fucking last. Babe Ruth would be a
I love
wash
this.
if he
I love
played
this
today.
conversation because, like, you'll see these like old videos of Babe Ruth like tripping over himself.
And then-
He's like, well, maybe if you run at it, you can. You know, he's like, he runs at it and he swings his bat. He's like, I need a fucking hot dog. And it's just like now you got like
Did you
these
see that one
guys that are
thing?
measuring their forearm to their hand ratio and launch angle. And Babe Ruth's just blacked out every night eating hot dogs.
I love Babe Ruth.
No.
And
Perfect guy for the time.
really quick, before we close the conversation on Babe Ruth, he was the best player.
No, this is a conversation about Roger Maris.
But we're finished. No, it is a conversation on Roger Maris. But who did he steal the crown from? He's from the most not iconic person in sports, not only in baseball. Like,
No,
so
definitely.
he was bigger. He was making more than it was iconic at the
More
time
than
than
the
the president, right?
yeah.
So
Yeah, I
it's
think he was making $100,000 back then, if I remember that correctly.
whatever
Yeah,
it
like
was, just
100,
for inflation.
125K.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
So-
he'd be a multimillionaire.
They
But
still haven't made a good movie on him. Like the old ones in the day, the black and white ones, they're okay. John Goodman played him, wasn't that great?
I mean, the John Goodman had some
They
decent.
made the
clips.
best movie about him. It's Saving Private Ryan.
All right, guys. Guys, real quick, while we're talking about, like, while we're going down baseball media, we got to talk about MVP Baseball 2005.
Ryan, I think Ryan's the first one we got it again. So
Best
we started
baseball game ever.
I got the game. I played it for
Yeah, and
a
then we
year
took
or
it
so,
out.
and then I left it in my room, and these guys played it for the next 20 years.
Kieran, would you like to touch on how I got Kevin Euclid?
Yeah, so
Oh my
Just,
God. You ruined my team.
slow down. You got to explain to
God.
the audience what the hell is this game, because this
Okay,
is a
so
very niche.
really quick, I'll give it a little bit of background context. So back in the day, it's the early 2000s. EA and 2K were going back and forth between baseball video games and sports video games.
2K glitch out all the time.
Yeah. So anyway, EA ended up making the better baseball video game. EA did make the better baseball video game, but one of them had the rights to put like professional athletes in this sports game, and the other ones did. So 2K counteracted by buying the rights to put Major League Baseball players in their video games. That's why 2K canceled and went down the NCAA route. So MVP only had that shelf span of 3 years for professional baseball before 2K bought the rights, and they ended up like a lot of what you see.
Nerd.
Pitch meter. Pitch meter is still like it's used in every game. The
Yeah,
mechanics are
you're
better. And like what's funny is the show didn't start doing a creative ballpark feature until their PS5 edition on the 22 version.
So-
But you had that in MVP 05. You had more features.
So
No,
let's make a good reel. All right, what is the best baseball video game ever?
It's
MVP.
MVP. Is it MVP 2005?
Yes, it
Find out. That's a real. Miles would watch
But
that. It's clickbait.
really, I mean, I'm not a gamer. I know you guys are still active gamers.
Yeah.
Check out Two Average Brothers.
Two Average Brothers.
Another
That's
podcast.
Something I
a
never
YouTube
upload
channel.
on anymore.
This is
I'm our editor of that too.
our silhouette is McKay and I just chilling at the console.
But
Breaking
I
Benjamin.
do remember it being a cool game from a fan
The
standpoint.
thing that was fun about it is you could build a stadium, you could sell tickets, set food prices.
But you can set a farm system too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like
So
that's,
only game down to single A.
yeah, this time in. So,
Now Kieran has something
Let's
to
go,
say.
Kieran.
well, no, when
here
you
goes
start,
the next 30 minutes.
when you start, that's how. Whoa. When you start the game, right? You could drop all the way to single A, which baseball games won't let you do anymore. Yeah, Jimmy Neutron.
We'll get to that story.
McKay and I spent so much time. We drafted everyone on the team. A great team. McKay and I have a deal. We can draft Derek Jeter if we are the Florida Marlins. That's our deal, right?
Yeah, we're always the Marlins, but we always get Derek Jeter.
Yes.
That's our deal.
A little bit of Yankee in your Marlin right there. So Braden comes by. We have this awesome team, and Braden ends up just drinking all night and playing MVP 2005.
At your house over there
On Boyan, and then we get in this lockjaw argument we need Kevin Youkilis. I don't know why he thought that.
Who do we have at third base?
I don't remember who we had at third base, but it was better
Usually
than Kevin
we get David
Youkilis.
Wright.
We usually get Captain America usually.
Yeah.
Kevin Youkilis,
No. And then
got walks.
and then we spend this whole time arguing, and I'm like, fine, we'll just get Kevin Youkilis. And then Brayden wakes up the next morning. We're playing. We wake up and we turn on MLB 2005. Thank you for leaving it in the room. And he goes, "Who the fuck got Kevin Youkilis?"
So, one other funny story is, in MVP's owner mode, it's so hard to run the budget.
And you're always in the red on that.
To this day, I've looked up YouTube videos, and I think I figured out the secret sauce.
That taught me about baseball,
But-
about running a business.
But, yeah, it did. That's why we got ravished. But anyway, so going back to...
Still in the red.
Going back to that, while I was researching meticulously these YouTube videos on a 20-year-old baseball video game, Kieran and I had this successful Marlins team. We were fucking dropping bombs, popping thongs.
We're touching on so many things.
We're consistently one of the best teams in the league. Our payroll under $50 million a year. And then the next season, Kieran, it gets to his head. He's like, we need a more athletic team. He gets Carlos Beltran, Ichiro. Like, Kieran, you're buying guys that make more than $1 million a year. Our
turns
limit's
into-
like 800,000.
He turns into George Steinbrenner.
What I thought, because I was annoyed, because I'm like, oh, we won the World Series. We can get these big name ball players because we go to another team to look at
But
trading.
our attendance is 20,000.
I know, but we go at this other team and they have Vlad and Albert Pujols. How can they afford both those?
They can't, and their team chemistry sucks. Haven't you looked at their targets?
But guys, look at this.
You can view this stuff in the scouting report.
But listen, I hear something very different when I hear this. I hear you guys laughing about these cool moments, but I hear a game that's teaching you how to run an organization.
Yeah, business.
and a bit, and that
Exactly.
It was
that's the
impossible
cool-
too.
What's that?
It was impossible within the game almost to turn a profit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how you run an organization is you lie to people. Every pitcher became.
Hey, that is not a representation of Ravish.
No, but we would get somebody, right?
Okay.
We would sign a pitcher, and then all of them want to be MLB.
No,
ace.
because I remember because
we have to take it because they get a lower amount of
really
money.
quick the story.
This is deep.
Yeah, no, this is deep.
So when you think
That's what
play
we
a
did.
baseball video game, you think, oh, Yankees versus Red Sox play a Major League Baseball game. This is really cool.
Yeah.
I almost again, I left this game in my room 20 years ago. I forgot a lot of this.
Around this time,
I almost want to play the game again.
Yeah. Around this time, Noah was watching SportsCenter 24/7.
Who's Noah?
Noah's the
Noah
family.
is-
To the dog.
To Noah.
A legend. A legend.
We grew up in a very
Right.
in a very tight household, a very close family. Dinners cooked every night.
Parents
at
were
the
still
table.
married.
Parents still married. to
They
this
still
day.
are to this
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And I would say what?
Fallbacks, tack
1,400
down.
square foot house.
Say what?
14
Yeah, somewhere
square
around
house.
there. Yeah.
I mean, so rubbing shoulders, we were bumping into each other, pretty quick. But so we were very close. Like not only in we had a lot of family love, but in proximity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Noah,
No, well, the three of us shared a bedroom.
right?
Yeah.
The three of us.
Somehow I landed in my own bedroom.
Ryan campaigned for mayor of his own bedroom.
we haven't figured out how
Really
I
quick,
got that.
Ryan, I remember that bedroom. It was this giant fucking bed.
Yeah, Ryan,
Just a
all right,
bed and
let
a
me-
TV,
let me-
nothing else
I
besides
do
that.
think I understand how it happened. I want to explain how.
But also,
I got
there's
my own bedroom.
pinstripes on the
You-
walls.
you-
Ryan
you-
was Yankee deep. People need to know that.
Yeah.
You had pinstripes on the wall. Mom painted.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they were,
NY.
some were thicker than others, but
Yeah.
I never told mom. Some were going this
I'm
way.
so glad Mom isn't listening live.
So
Painter's tape. Come on.
but let's touch on that.
A little closer here.
Let's touch on that.
Just right there. There you go.
He's helping my mic
Can you
placement.
give me a hi? My name is Ryan.
Come again?
Give me what I want. Hi, my name is Ryan Giffen.
Hi, my name is Ryan Giffen.
Hang on, that's going to be a real. Ryan, hang on, really quick. It's going to be Ryan today versus Ryan then. Give me one more. Hi, my name is Ryan
Yes.
Giffen.
Hi, my name is Ryan Giffen.
That was perfect. That was perfect.
All right, back to your. Sorry,
I had much less
we forgot
charisma.
about you too, Roger Maris.
So no, this podcast is going to be all over the place, but that was our
That's the beauty of it.
our
This is what
childhood.
it's like growing up with 4 baseball players.
This is what it's like. I feel like a single child watching this is like has like ADD. Like, but this is what it was like growing up in a house with horse.
All right, really quick, while I got you guys on the spot, do you feel like this podcast is an accurate representation of what it's like to be a baseball player?
I mean, at least in our household so far, yeah.
Okay, that's a fair answer.
And
'Cause,
then,
like,
so, McKenzie, the
that's where
interesting
I wanna
thing
get
about
with
that
it.
is you'll get people to comment on this that'll probably have similar experiences all around
Exactly,
the world.
and like
you know?
I want to make this like a baseball player's podcast, not like where we're just talking about stats and like what someone did on this day.
I said
this
that on
time.
my podcast. I was like, I think
Yeah.
the coolest thing about McKay's podcast is that I
We're
listen
just
to other
dudes who played the game.
podcasts of baseball players who had like careers in the MLB. McKay's like every guy who ever played has something to say about it.
Yeah.
That's true, but I think there's more that's happening there. We're talking about the family structure. We're talking about the community
Yeah,
structure.
we're talking about baseball on a community and a human level. Like baseball, like the work ethics. Like if it wasn't for baseball, you might not own this restaurant.
I would not have known Alex, my partner, who.
Well, you
got us
might not have
involved.
had the same drive either.
Right, and I talked about that in my episode a little bit on how the tool that we use, and if you guys remember, do you guys remember from my episode, we use a tool called Culture Index. I know you've taken that. You have not taken it.
I took it. Cool.
But it's a survey.
What is that?
It's a survey that reads your personality, and it says your personality is set by the time you're 13 years old. So whatever you're doing up until you're 13 years old is carving who you are. And if you're playing baseball before, what you're learning about baseball is going to make you kind of who you are. Plus your home life and your school life and all these other things. But
I
baseball,
still do like a bunch of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to get your culture index after this.
right.
I'll tell you who you are.
Well,
He's Jeff Conine. He is
Dude,
Jeff Conine.
I met Jeff Conine. Was absolutely starstruck. I think he's more important to baseball than Derek Jeter. I said it.
It's okay to be wrong.
No, it's fine.
Can we talk about 2003 a little bit? Because that was an interesting year.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Well, I think-
a $30 million team beat. How much was your payroll?
Probably 180 around
But
the time. It's at least 6 times.
I think it
more.
goes deeper. I think it goes.
Yeah.
Does it? Josh Beckett just was hanging curveballs over Jorge Posada. Just tagged him. Done. Dude,
Beckett was nasty that year.
He was nasty.
Like it was.
Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm making this overglossed.
But I want to touch on our relationship because we
because we
were
went to high school together.
very close in age.
We were, and very distant in relationship at that time.
And I think about our relationship a lot.
Thank you, McKay.
I think about our
That's what I'm
relationship,
here for.
and I think I felt a very strong sibling rivalry with you.
I did not.
You did not.
I was just like, why does my older brother just want to hang out with me?
Right, and I don't know why, but like I just naturally felt like you
I
got
think
on
it's
my
a
nerves.
natural thing, man. It's
Really
fun.
quick.
I want to go here, but this is
we
a
can go
deep
here.
part
Hang on,
about.
should we send this podcast to Dr. Craig?
Dude, if we have Dr. Craig on, let's do it.
Oh, what's really funny is I saw Dr. Craig recently, and
He's our
like,
family therapist.
Yeah, shameless plug. But
He's gonna have a field day with this
quick,
podcast.
I was talking.
Oh my
No,
God.
hang on. Let me
Best
say,
conversation
guys,
ever had.
guys, really quick. So Dr. Craig was like, "Man, you guys like some fucking complicated women. When your therapist tells you that, it's something different."
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Ryan.
No, I want to hear more of your side of it. And this is like so crazy. Like we're probably having this conversation we probably should have had before this podcast.
Yeah,
but fuck
probably.
it, we're live.
Hey guys, aren't you glad I started this podcast?
Absolutely, dude. I'm always blown away by your editing skills and about your just how anal you are about it. You're just you get
Dude,
it to
I
the
am.
point where you love it. I
So,
love it.
did you see that reel with Ryan talking about Miles?
Yeah, I saw
I-
the edits. It was great.
I spent about 6 hours on
No,
that
I know.
because I was like, this is at the end of the day, baseball is a father-son game and brother game. It's very family-driven.
It's Field of Dreams.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
when I was editing it, I was like, this is everything baseball is. Like, fuck what's happening in the big leagues. Fuck what you're hitting. Like, this is what baseball is. It's like, it's a love between one dude to another, and guys aren't always the best at showing it. And like, I spent so much time on that because I was like, I want this to come out perfect. And to this day, that's my favorite thing I've ever edited.
Nice.
Yeah,
Kieran,
it was great story.
I want to touch on this because
ahead.
I really appreciate hearing your perspective on that because I feel like naturally like an asshole because of it.
You don't have to.
But as I'll tell you, like I remember once being like 7 or 8, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be a great brother, and I'm gonna go like be really nice to my brother right now. And you just did something that like drove me crazy.
That's
And I was like,
yeah.
I fucking tried. But I just want to give you an example of that.
You did dive on the ground ball.
And through it, like, and I want to know more about how you viewed me because I still like always had deep love for you, and I don't know if you realize like
So So
Let me finish this last thought.
Go ahead.
Throughout the whole time, we always had a hard time crafting what our relationship was.
Yeah.
And I think in adulthood, I feel very differently.
No, now I feel like we got it down how we want it.
Sort of. And I still want to...
We're honing it in for sure.
We're still honing it in.
There's always better we can do.
Yes.
Like, I remember leaving Santa Lucia's, and, like, we were not close there. But,
Right.
but like, I still, like... Look, I remember telling Scott, like, hey, I'm leaving. Please keep an eye on Kieran for me. Like, I remember, like, wanting that...
And I lived with him. He was the coolest kid in high
Right,
school.
and he took it very seriously. He moved in with you and looked after you.
Hey,
Chilled out, Scott. Chill.
But for some reason, I mean, for you, I'm just trying to.
I'll
see,
be the Shrilly.
I just want to know the dynamics of a brotherhood. We're talking about brotherhood here. Like me
we
and
are.
Brayden were more distant, so like it made like it was different. But like I don't know why I felt like there was this sibling rivalry.
So we are talking about brotherhood, right? Which makes a lot of sense because we're all brothers. All of you guys have gained a brother from baseball, right?
Many.
Yeah.
Lindsay and Kevin, y'all, they went to my basketball party.
So I have not gained one brother from high school from baseball.
What's funny
None.
is like
But
no,
But that's no.
I think that goes again to my point of we were doing
Right.
this thing over X amount of years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
but I'm not complaining about that
really,
at all.
But to what you're saying, I met my best friend through baseball in men's league.
Who's that?
His name's Jamal, and
Okay.
like
Fucking love Jamal.
Yeah,
you
I
gotta
never
love
met him.
Jamal. But like, I don't know what it is. Like, I feel like he is one of my best friends, and I've known him for the shortest amount of time. And like, even like we still go out and practice because you want to get tuned up before a men's league game. Like the inner me still wants to be the best I can, but he knows how to talk to me, how to tell me how to hit. It's just like it's crazy how you meet these people at any time. They know how you work.
Yeah,
but
man.
I want to hear more of Kieran's experience.
Oh no! So as I was saying, like you guys, I never gained a brother from baseball, but I have all you guys, and it's amazing. So when Ryan, we shared wood shop together, right? We were both making stuff in wood shop, and we never spoke a sentence to each other. And I was never upset about it. I didn't like. Ryan was a really cool kid in high school, second to Scott. Dude, he would flex.
No, I don't.
I would sit there watching. My
I do
brother
think we spoke in
flex
that
on
class.
on the morning announcements. Remember Tricep Tuesdays? So no, I never took any of it to heart. It was just like I subconsciously understood that this was just like a part of growing up and a part of being in school, and just like things are going to be not how I always want them, but I always had love for my brother. So we were walking out of woodshop class, and this dude came up and clocked Ryan in the face, and then Ryan got him in the.
Brian, turn to the camera. You can see it right here.
That's his
Ryan.
birthmark.
Yeah.
There's a baseball mark in there,
uh,
too, I think.
Damn, dude, all that on the same eye.
that's
This side of the face, man.
So
Ryan, we got your good side on the camera.
I know. That's why I sat here.
So I had a very deep understanding that our relationship in high school was weird, not because you wanted it to be weird, we were growing up. I always understood that. Who?
I feel like I hit him. Didn't he tell you something?
No, I what I did is I told myself, I was like, if anyone, like, I was mad because I wasn't there to hit the guy back.
Oh, so yeah, this ties into this other thing. So years later,
Right.
Oh yeah.
So we fast forward
So
years.
Kieran, this is deep. This is deep.
We fast forward years later, like.
Well,
so-
so let's say like I got hit. I ended up doing very well in the fight, but the guy.
No,
had a
you
ring
won
on.
the fight. You won the fight.
I
That
had
was a
12
cheap
stitches
shot.
in my
That was a cheap
eye.
shot.
And I never knew you felt like me and Kieran. We it was weird.
didn't talk.
So I do think I do feel like deep down like I could have done some things differently, but I also felt like I had love for you in a different way that it was weird, man. Like I felt like we were a little oil and vinegar, but
Yeah, it was.
But when you shake it,
but I
makes
did but
sense.
like we at the end of the day like we had each other's back. Like I always did.
Absolutely, dude.
and we all always do.
And I just don't know why we couldn't have
Well,
the friendship that
goes back to my understanding. Like, I knew it was like a part of the time. I was much more different in high school than you were.
We
And
were different people.
We were different people, and I understood at that time. Like, I never held any of it like, oh, my brother's being mean to me. I just was like, we're doing different things. Like today,
he would drive me crazy. Like I'd be trying to get up and go to school. He'd be sleeping into the last minute. Like he'd just do little things that would tick me. I'm like, Kieran, get out of bed. Like, I drove you to school every day. Like there's little things that would.
Kieran, you can use my truck today.
But anyways, so I get clocked.
Yeah, there's some backstory there of this thing where Kieran had felt like he had almost like lacked justice for Ryan.
He was
right?
not being even this unspoken brother.
Yeah, he felt like he should have acted, and he didn't in that time. And then fast forward to years later, we're on Clematis Street.
I think I got to give the early context because we were just downtown partying.
Yes, yeah.
And someone was
Josh was in town, I think. Like
and someone was talking to my wife. Someone was talking to my wife.
No, someone was like hitting on your wife.
He was hitting my wife, and like for a second, like I thought, like, oh, he was just talking, and then I realized, oh, this was more than talking. And I realized, I don't drink like I did back then, but I probably had more drinks to me than I would have in public today. But I just realized, all right, this guy's not stopping talking to my girl. Like I need to get him out of the way. So I physically pushed him out of the way, and. Then I caught another one to the face. Before I could look up, Kieran, what happened?
So then, before you could look up, then I just came by, just Superman punched him in the face.
So my perspective is this: is we're on Clematis, there's a strip of bars there, and we're walking across the street, right? And so as we're walking across the street, this whole thing goes down that I don't really know what's going on, and all I see is Kieran jump over Ryan and punch this guy in the fucking head, and then we're in the street, and the cops are like, "Are you all right? Are you?" We're like, "We're fucking all right. Are you fucking? Yeah, of course we're fucking all right." And we're just like, and I was just like, "Okay, I'm with them. We're fucking all right." Like, I had no idea what was going on. I was like, "Yeah, we're here."
We've always internally had that same bond, and like look at it, like I'm 9 years apart from Ryan, who's the oldest. I'm the youngest here. We still have that same bond, and like your wife Emily, she has the same story. We went out to like rent a boat for Father's Day, and someone fucked with Dad, and all of us stood up. Like, you're fucking with Dad, you're fucking with all of
Emily
us.
tells the story like
It's
like
her favorite story.
It was at like
Braden, tell the story.
So from how Emily tells it, I don't remember specifically like this. We're having problems with the boat. I worked at Two Georges at the time, and we're talking to this guy about getting this boat, and he's kind of being a little shiesty, and we're trying to figure out money and all that, and I forget, we came back and the boat was having like an issue and we're all like working on it, but Dad's been a mechanic. Yeah. It was something like that. Yeah, it was something like that. And somebody was walking by like talking shit. So we all just like stop, and Emily's like, "You guys just look up like little ducklings falling," and we just like, and we're like, "You want to fuck with us?"
At that point, 5-on-1, you ain't winning.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe it was irrational, but it was like fight or flight right now.
But we always do that. We've always done that.
So, and then going back to when we were at Clematis, I remember Ryan coming up to me. He goes, "Yo, why did you do that?" I'm like, "You remember what happened in high school?"
Like he cited it within seconds. He's like, "This is my chance to get my brother's back."
Kieran redeemed himself because he had like I don't know, maybe thought he should have done something at the time, and then
it was because I was too far away from Ryan.
When it happened in high school.
When it happened in high school, and I came sprinting back, and then Ryan already had to do in a headlock. He goes, "You want to punch me now?"
I was in good shape back then.
Yeah,
not in bad shape. But Kieran, like it's like the dynamics, like the question here, and I pulled it out, and I'm glad we're talking about is our relationship as kids, because I think as in adulthood, like, and I want to be closer, and you've been very good to my kids. My kids love you, and I still want to be closer, and I'm really glad. I think this podcast is a step towards that, actually, where I feel like with Braden, I don't know why with being more distant. I don't know what it was. It's something innately in me, like, and I kind of like. I don't know if that's something that happens when kids are very close to each other, or if...
Well, dude, you're growing up, and you got all these hormones inside you, and like everyone's just trying to find their way. Figure out who they are.
I got the best of you because I was younger brother. I got the best of everyone because I was the youngest brother.
I know. That's why I thought McKay was going to be like this prominent baseball player. Said in my podcast, I was like, man.
Sorry.
No, it's not too late. How about that? But I was just like, I remember thinking all these things I learned from Ryan and watching Ryan play against guys like Josh Bell and all these guys I was talking about in my podcast. And I was like, man, if I could tell McKay this knowledge, he would know it sooner than I would, and he would be a better baseball player. So I'm like, teach him, you got to drop and block, when I'm throwing balls against him in the fence. And then I'm teaching him how to hook slide in Little League.
But still, like, even
I superplex him in the front yard.
But what's funny, like, Braden, those lessons you taught me when I was about 12, like, 12 years later, I'm in men's league. Like, in men's league, they're trying to, like, see what you got to compete. And I was like, I can catch. And they look at me like, you can't fucking catch. They put me behind the dish. I'm our starting catcher after that.
That's what I'm saying.
So, like,
certain skills you don't lose. And those are those twitches Ryan was talking about on his podcast.
In a way, it all comes back. Like, where would we be without baseball?
Man, I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy to think because you meet so many people.
Would it be better or worse?
It would be different, and it would probably be worse, I guess. I don't know. How do you quantify that?
I feel like it'd be worse. I like because we have, like you said, our baseball bros. chat, we have 61. Like, how many other people have 61 as a
but we
movie?
can't-
Like, all right, so all of us here in relationships, you've showed your wife 61?
Yes.
You've showed your wife 61? You showed your girlfriend
It's the
61?
best movie ever made.
I've showed my girlfriend 61.
I like girls with
but
small
I think
hands.
what you could be
Makes my dick
saying.
look bigger.
Well, you could.
I said I like girls with small hands.
So
And I remember in 61, Mickey Mantle was like, yeah, but Beaver didn't get as much pussy as I did.
Like and just like with baseball with all of us, like I know by saying like one person's name in a fictitious baseball, it'll get Brady to roll his eyes.
Yeah.
Downtown Anderson was the best ball player.
The worst movie ever.
So let me bring something back,
Back to the minors.
to sibling rivalry a little bit, and we'll finish it with this.
All right.
I was a diehard Yankee fan.
Oh yeah,
I was a
2015.
diehard Yankee fan.
And Kieran's repping the Marlins teal.
The only one.
And of course, oil and vinegar. He had to love the Marlins playing against the Yankees. And that 2003 World Series, I remember I couldn't watch the game in the same room with you. I remember
we were in separate rooms watching.
I remember hearing you when Bernie Williams hit this ball to the track, saying no, and I'm like yeah, and then it dies at the track, and you're like
Hang
yes,
on.
I'm like
Hang on.
driving me
on.
crazy.
Hang on. Guys.
Sada and Beckett.
Guys,
ended that,
guys, if we're talking about Bernie Williams, Roger Maris, why aren't we talking about Bernie Williams?
Hall of Famer.
Snub.
Yeah.
Bernie clutch, Bernie batting titles, Bernie heart of that lineup, and one of the best dynasties in baseball history.
He was casually a four-hitter.
I remember Mom and Dad being really stressed out with Ryan and I at each other's throats about this dude had pinstripes in his room. My room wasn't painted teal, as much as I still want it to be.
Hey, you're back in the same bedroom.
Damn
You
time.
can still paint it teal. There's time.
Mom's gonna walk in. Like,
I got you that Conine jersey. Come on.
Ryan got me a Conine jersey and a Conine figurine, which I still keep like to this day. So thank you for that. We
Hey, TNA.
Guys, I love how we're still doing all that for each other. Like, I mean, we all took our separate bonds. Like, me and Kieran, like, me and you are like, our bond is always going to be between our Marlins team with Derek Jeter.
and
Reigning
don't
the
forget
hell.
AM Music. You and I, we definitely
we've seen Breaking Benjamin every
way too
year.
many times. Probably.
We've seen them 5 times together.
And what's fascinating is and how you guys are bonding like that. I feel like me and Braden have a very like similar bond. Like I almost feel like there's no one closer in the world to me that I can like think how I'm thinking at the moment than Braden. Like I think of Braden like will look at something, react, and they'll be the closest someone else would react to a situation is me. Like it's weird how like it kind of went 1, 2, 3, 4. Like it like skipped like we were like the same people. And I'm saying that we're
Yeah, I
obviously
understand
different in
what you're
variations,
saying.
Yeah. And
but I'm just saying there's no one else closer in the world to me as the way that thinks is Braden.
No, it's funny because like I mean we all call each other for different things. Like Braden will call me and I'll fix his fire truck over the phone. Over FaceTime, and it's just I think we have it's well blended. So you keep saying oil and vinegar. I think we're
in childhood,
we're the blended version of oil and vinegar. Delicious.
If it was all the same, but yeah. But again, I want to touch on all our relationships. And I'm glad I got to go there with you, Kieran, because I'm super proud of you. And like I said, you take good care of our fleet now, and there's still just so much more. We're still young men. We're still some of us are in our 30s, some of us are getting close.
Yeah.
And
We're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
But I had we all had the pleasure to speak at Braden's wedding,
Yeah.
and that was a really cool opportunity for me.
Yeah, I was a bit worried about McKay.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
That's what you're worried about?
Yeah, I was worried about
because-
McKay. I knew you'd treat
I-
it.
Let's talk about best man speech.
All right,
Let's go into depth
for,
on this.
For best man speech, like sometimes we throw together things a little last minute hastily.
Yeah.
That's just our nature. But anyway, so for Braden's best man speech,
I did not.
no, Ryan didn't. Ryan planned. But anyway, Braden's like, McKay, are you speaking at my wedding? I'm like, yeah, it's your wedding. He's like, did you prepare? He's like, did you prepare? I'm like, no.
No, it's fun for me to watch. I'm sitting there and I was just worried about McHale the whole time. Just kind of like that older brother
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I was like, oh my god, he's gonna fucking embarrass himself. And then,
So you get like
yeah, no, I get it. And like because he's like, no, I'm not prepared. I'm like, why would you ever not be prepared?
But for me,
I think it sounds like a horrible idea.
but for me, like, it comes back to baseball, that reactionary twitch muscle.
Yeah, you went to that game
like,
time.
I
You know what I taught my players?
What?
Not preparing is preparing to fail.
Yeah.
But for me, like, all right, really quick, reining that back into baseball. Preparing is not preparing to fail. But I like playing third base because you didn't have time to prepare. The ball's hit to you hard, so you got to react. And like at your best man speech, I reacted. Like for Grandpa's funeral, I reacted.
Yeah.
Like, I gave my speech the same day.
I don't have that twitch muscle. I wrote it the whole way there.
Yeah, for me, sometimes like I feel like I work better under pressure because it just makes me think better. Because for me, like where I think baseball killed me was anticipation.
And to tie this thing in a knot, it was killer. They were all killer. They were all great. I shouldn't have worried about anything. Like I wish I spent more time enjoying things than I was worrying about.
But let me touch on like I felt going in like I felt like so completely different. I felt like, man, I can't fuck up this best man speech.
Well, I think the only reason Brandon was like so just worked up about his wedding is because the dude he basically built everything around that wedding. So it's just like the amount of man hours he put into
but
that.
also for me when it was like, because I asked you, I was like, is everyone else giving a speech? You said yes, and I was like, well, then I am too. Yeah. I just followed in line
in
with
the
all
car
the
ride,
ducklings.
Braden's like, is that a good reason to give a speech? Because everyone else is saying a speech?
Yeah.
Should we jump off the bridge too when we're done?
If you guys jumped off a bridge, I'd have the sickest.
There you go.
And
720 backflip.
All I did was solidify a lines I didn't know I had. So it was nice that McKay could show up in the moment. And there's been a few times where McKay has caught me off guard. I want to tell my favorite McKay story if we got a few minutes.
Yeah, go for it, dude.
So,
this podcast is running as long as it needs to.
Okay, I don't even know how deep we're in.
No, we're an hour 5 minutes in.
Cool.
What time is it?
We're an hour 5 minutes in. I don't know what time.
We open at 4, so we have a hard stop at 4.
All right, we got 14 minutes.
All right, let's go.
All right, so this will be like a 5-minute story. So it was. I just got my learner's permit. I'm going to umpire at Wellington, like Olympia, where Miles tried out today. I was umpiring there, and so I'm around the fields a lot. And McKay's playing there, and McKay's. I think it was kid pitch, was it? Do you remember? You know the story I'm going to say, right?
I think I was at Okehili at this point.
No, it was Wellington. I remember specifically there.
Man, that should show you a lot to me. I blacked out in the moment.
It was just one of those things where, like, touching back on, like, where I was so worried about McKay. Like, can he handle himself? And so it was just a reassurance that McKay can handle himself. There's this game, this guy, I don't even know where he's at. His name's Amadeus. He played for the Warriors in about 2009 at Wellington. So hopefully you're not as much of a dick now.
Fuck you, Amadeus.
Fuck you. So something was happening.
Amadeus,
McKay wasn't having a bad game.
If he's subscribed, he's unsubscribed.
Yeah, unsubscribe. We don't need your help.
Unless you've changed your ways.
Unless you really like this podcast, leave it a 5-star
strongly
rating.
worded letter. But anyways, so we're at this place, and so I'm around the fields a lot. I'm umpiring stuff, and McKay's playing, Dad's coaching. I think Greg's coaching too. And this like tussle starts happening. I'm on the first base side along the fence, just watching the game. This tussle happens in the dugout, and I guess from what I understand is this guy Amadeus is talking shit to McKay, and McKay's like the rest of us undersized, and he's this little undersized blonde guy.
I want to hear your side. I want to hear.
No, I was just gonna say I was smaller than the rest of you.
Yeah, McKay always was. Yeah, he was always small. He was the run of the litter, So
I've had coaches telling me that too.
Sorry.
I ate some shit and lived through it.
So this is a perfect segue into that. So this guy's like talking shit to McKay. I hear this rustling in the dugout, and I'm like I said, worried about McKay. And then all of a sudden, McKay's got this guy pinned up against the fence, and I hear him this little squeaky 7-year-old voice. He's like, "You want a piece of me?" And he comes up and he does. It reminds me of. Have you guys ever seen what's that movie with where they're in jail and he's from New York? My Cousin Vinny.
Yes.
Remember he punches the guy out. So I remember the scene specifically. He jumps and punches the guy, and he uses his whole body to hit this guy, and that's what McKay did. He just jumps, and this guy's way bigger than him, big guy. And McKay just goes, "You want a piece of me?" Knocks this kid out, and I was like, "Fuck you!" Hell yeah!
Can I throw him in the garbage can?
Be a goddamn warrior. And then McKay's just trying to throw him in the trash can.
I heard the game in the trash.
And I was
can.
just like, "Oh, he can handle himself.
He's got it.
And where that comes back to is remember that time I think we met up for a boys trip in Orlando. And we're just at our arcade. We're taking Miles out, and Miles, he's under this wing of us.
Yeah,
and
toxic masculinity.
And anyway, so we're just messing around on this one radar gun game, and these guys show up, and they were playing summer college baseball at the time.
I have a video of Ryan humming those in there.
They were good, and then like I remember like they're throwing like
Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, Dave and Buster's.
They wanted to bet money.
Yeah,
they wanted to bet money. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I play in men's league. Like my arm's not in shape for this." But I hit 85 against them, and then all I hear is Braden in my ear. I've never been more proud of you than I am.
I was
right
like,
now.
"Fuck these guys!" Dude. I was
All
like,
right, I want to throw something back too, because we were talking on McKay. McKay, I remember playing college baseball and waiting every night, or I knew when your games were, and you would call me after every game. And I don't know if you remember this.
I remember,
but I remember like thinking it was such a good exercise for you because like you would just wait for me to say things to you and ask you. Like I remember just like I was like I'm teaching him how to have conversations. And
boy, did I need it!
I just
Here comes Stryker with a beer.
and I remember my boys being in the
I
house too.
remember when
Like,
he
my
became a
little
pitcher
brother.
specifically. Fucking
Yeah.
had
So I'm just
movement
saying-
on all of his pitches.
One more striker. Hang on, beer intermission.
Beer intermission.
This is what the service you get at Ravish Kitchen.
future podcaster
Yeah,
Dylan Stryker.
where customers also serve.
Say what?
Where customers also serve. So, no, McKay would call me at nights when I was playing college baseball, and I remember just thinking like it was a struggle to get through the conversation. But I love that you called me and you wanted to tell me about your game. But I remember I was like, all right, I'm able to teach my little brother something. And how to hold the conversation. I would ask you questions. I do the same thing with Miles now. How to have a conversation with someone. Do you remember those conversations?
I do. I remember there was one game. I think you didn't answer, so I started blowing up Jess's phone, and you guys just started dating.
So is anybody going to talk to me about this?
Yeah, and then Ryan called. He thought someone in the family died or something because I was blowing up his phone so much.
Well, if I get more than one call, I'm like, the house must be on fire.
McKay's like, let up a run.
I was like, Ryan, I got 2 nuggets
Walk 2
tonight.
guys, let up a run.
It's like I went 1 for 4 with a single.
He still holds the mic the same
Bringing it back to Roger Maris. I was the most vacant personality.
No.
Yeah,
you were learning.
Hold on.
And it was a good opportunity for me as an older. It was not always easy. All right, being the older brother, you had the cool perks of being leadership. But I didn't know how to be the best older brother to you. I didn't know exactly, but I was learning. It taught me how to give all these skills to other people that I would lead at my employees now, my kids now. I learned a lot by being older brothers to you.
And older brothers through baseball.
I have
It's not perfect the whole time.
No, it's never going to be.
There's a level of irony here.
Imperfection's beauty, too.
Well, absolutely, yeah. But there's a level of irony here that I want to touch on. It's funny to me is we all grew up with McKay. McKay in kindergarten had what they called a selective personality, right?
Selective mutism.
Mutism, rather.
Thanks,
Sorry.
Dr. Craig.
What?
This is sponsored by
So
Dr. Craig.
McKay is just
He's
this.
off Spanish River in US 1.
He got moved now.
Yeah, no, he's upstairs.
Oh, he is? I gotta go see him.
What problems can we bring to him today?
It's funny to me that McKay, so selective mutism in kindergarten, I went to the same private school as he did, and he says to me and my mom, and I was showing him around school because I was like a big fish in a little pond there, so it was nice to show McKay around. I was like, and I knew the teachers and all that, so I felt like I was the big brother in this situation, and McKay said, I don't want to talk to anybody until first grade, and then so he didn't, and then and then grandma would give him money to raise his hand, so he would do it for $5 a pop, five SKUs, and then here we are,
practice.
and then here we are. McKay is hosting a podcast that is open dialogue.
Hey, cheers to that. Cheers to the selective mutism to hosting.
Thank you, Dr. Craig. He's talking to everyone now. So, one of my favorite stories about Braden is... So, you say you're a big fish in a little pond, right? So, one of my best friends, Fatty, would always be like, yeah, we know Braden's hooking up with all these chicks and stuff because he's a big fish in a little pond. What happens when he gets in a big pond? So, Braden goes to a public school, and a lot of people,
Brady goes from 100 kids to 1,000 kids.
And then Fatty got upset because he goes, damn, he did better.
What do you mean by that? I don't even know what you're saying.
Well, because you were a big fish in a little pond, how are you going to do it in a big pond and you did better?
Oh, well, I didn't seem like that, dude. It's funny. Never felt like that.
But, yeah, man. Well, whoa, that got pretty cathartic there for a while, and this is a pretty raw, real podcast. I think
so. The thing I thought about this podcast a lot coming into this, and I was thinking I want to be sure in what I say, and I want to be as 100% honest as I can. And,
Yeah.
I think we all did that, and that's what comes out.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think through baseball, we talk a lot about our relationships.
Yeah, and through baseball, there's a lot of things that you might not understand. And then now here I am looking back on. I was telling Ryan before we went to breakfast, like I hadn't thought about my high school baseball career in a long time. So like it dredges up these memories, and like, oh, I forgot. I haven't thought about this time in my life as an adult with an adult perspective, you know. And it's like, holy shit, I didn't know all these things were happening in the background, you know. And then it makes you who you are essentially.
Yeah.
So, Braden, you going through college ball, high school ball, what was the one single piece of information that you needed to hear?
I told this on my individual podcast. It was looking for shit up. Just look for shit up.
Oh my God.
If a ball, this guy that was at Lynn University, he didn't even know how much. I don't even know his name. He doesn't even know how much he affected me. This is one of those instances in life where somebody gives you one piece of information, and you're like, that's all I needed. That's all I needed to hear.
I remember getting you involved with that summer league.
Yeah,
Bill,
I think you paid for half of it for me.
Yeah, and I remember. I mean, that's just being bros, right?
Then we got Braxton.
Yeah.
but I think I remember like you didn't even play like that much on that team, right? Like
No.
you were kind of just you were here in and
Dude,
out.
that was a league of like D1 guys, and I was this little NAIA turned D2.
But dude,
yeah.
so Braden, I think you hit like maybe 250 your freshman year.
Yeah, I was telling McCann on my podcast, like I struck out a lot, and I swung, and I had a lot of hard outs. So I was like, my average wasn't reflective, but I also wasn't striking out too much.
In today's baseball,
Yeah.
they could quantify that.
Yeah, sure,
But
sure.
I remember that next year you became an All-American.
Yeah, I was an All-American my
yeah.
sophomore year. And all I did, I was telling McKay, I was just in the box, I was like, look for shit up. Is it up?
Dude,
Nope, no. And that's all I
like.
ever
I remember
did.
you had going on that tear, and I was done playing. I was like,
Yeah.
I want to go back and play and look for shit up.
Look for shit up, dude. I know. All my buddies I went to college.
Cheers. Opa.
All my buddies I went to college with gave me like so much shit about it because that's all I ever talked about. That was my only approach to hitting. It wasn't fastball, it wasn't curveball. There's this home run I hit, the second home run I ever hit in college. We're playing in Penn State, Abington, and this guy throws a curveball like at my chin that just hangs, and I just kind of like wail and bail, and I hit a home run, wraps around the pole. It was just like I had hit this stride where I was just on fire because I'd never had.
Because I remember you always being like a pretty good baseball player, and then like you kind of get in the weeds that you're playing very good competitive baseball, and
Yeah.
it's like everyone's pretty good, and it's like it's fucking hard. But that year, you just like
Yeah, man, I was just
you
locked in.
I remember looking at your stats every day. I'm like, holy shit! Like he's never getting out.
Dude,
He's going 3 for 4. He's getting
Yeah.
mentioned here, mentioned there. That was so fun.
Yeah, man,
to
it was
watch.
really
I remember
cool.
going to see you in Orlando with Rosie.
Yeah.
And actually, I partied with you guys one night there.
Do you remember what I did that game? I don't remember what game
I
it was.
think you were going. I have on my Instagram. You can go back and look. I think you went
Yeah.
like 4 for 4 with like 11 RBI, like a ridiculous.
Yeah,
game.
man, I got these really streaky times. Like, I was a very streaky guy. I was telling Cam on my podcast. I didn't throw well. My freshman year, I won the fielding award. And then my sophomore year, I won the hitting award. But if I could throw better, I would play third base. But I couldn't
Right.
throw well. And I don't know. It was just a interesting time,
All right, guys. Before we wrap up, give someone a shout out and somewhere someone can find you that's listening.
Don't call me, please. I'll be on the podcast again, but if I get DMs, I don't need that.
Kieran, swivel it back to you.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and make kind of like a shout out for Grandpa. Eddie Barber. Look up the Boca Raton Flying Club. They'll teach you how to fly. The pilot's not just the chauffeur. He does a lot more than just take you there and back.
All right, Ryan, back to you.
I'm probably the worst at this, but
No, you're the best at
no. I mean, so obviously we're the sponsor today. My biggest passion is in cryptocurrency. So if you want to follow my YouTube channel, it's just my name, Ryan Giffen. It's my biggest passion in my life today. I talk about it a little bit on my podcast, but how the financial crisis impacted me and got me into the world of Bitcoin, and how you can come to any of my businesses and spend cryptocurrency, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Monero, any kind of free market, peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Follow me at Ryan Giffen on YouTube, please.
All right.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Proud of you, bud.
Cheers.
Proud of all you.
Proud of you guys.
You guys are.
Yeah.
I felt like we had another hour to go.
We have 3
Dude,
hours.
we always do.
We
No.
can do this.
But we have to open and serve customers and make money today. So
Yeah.
get the hell off
But-
here.
All right, guys. Before we wrap up, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Ravish, for hosting us. And
And the Bitcoin Cash podcast.
we got. Hang on. We got really quick before we go. We got another local guy, Pete Strzelecki. We're rooting for you. Dude's
Yeah,
in the big
PD.
leagues. Braden played with him. I was in the
Yeah,
system as
Pistol
him.
Pete.
You
Love you, brother.
coached him.
A little bit.
Can I tell
Yeah.
a quick story about Pistol Pete?
Yeah, go for it.
So Ryan, you'll know this when you go to St. Lucia's, you're doing tryouts, and like you're standing by the fence, like where the sheds are, where they open the gates, and everybody's changing and eating the sandwiches mom made you. And like Pete, freshman shuts down inter squad varsity game, and then he's sitting over there, he's changing, he's like just tried out for the basketball team, and he's throwing 50-foot tight 50-yard tight spirals just across this area. I'm like, fuck.
I remember you telling me like Pete was because Pete was not a huge contributing factor, especially your senior year. He was hurt, and I remember like seeing he had a live. All I knew was he had a live arm.
Yeah,
but like besides that, could he pitch? I didn't know.
He just always shut down. There's one of those guys that like you could just plug in and he's going to win you a game. At that level, especially, he'll win you. You put Pete in, we're good. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you,
Dugout
Schwill,
Chatter.
for running it. Tune in next week for Dugout Chatter. Thank you to our sponsors, Ravish and Bitcoin Cash Podcast. Jeremy, Ryan. All right,
The boys.
We'll see all y'all next week.
We made it.